Hi, today I want to talk to you about, it's kind of a tough subject for me, but it's about having those issues in your relationship with your parents. For me, I kind of had a strained relationship with my mother, so I'm going to talk about that. Maybe you want your parent to be different. I'm not talking about abuse or neglect from a parent. I'm talking about just wanting them to maybe love you the way you want to be loved, or to stop telling you what to do with well-meaning advice, making you feel like you don't know what you are doing in your life, or other type of issues that it doesn't seem like it's ever good enough for them, that it's just they want you to or just different type of issues, like they're just not doing what you want them to do. And I dealt with this with my mom, and so I wanted my mom to be different. I wanted a different relationship with her. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today, and be sure to stay to the end to understand why I was overwhelmed with gratitude. If you're new here to my channel, I'm Rhonda. I talk about change, motivation, and mindset using spiritual principles. And if you like what I share, please subscribe, hit like, and maybe share this with others who may need to hear this. So I'm going to get into this. I put off making this video because it's emotional for me. My mom died in October, and I've dealt with some grief with that, but I've also been very grateful. You see, my mom was emotionally unavailable. She was not very affectionate. She was a great role model. She was a strong Christian woman, and she modeled that for me. But I wanted this loving, affectionate mom. And as I got older, and other friends of mine would talk about the relationships with their mom, and going shopping and doing this and spending time and all this stuff, and I'd see them with their moms, and their moms would love on them and all of this, and I was envious of that. And as I got older, I copped a resentment. I just was resentful because my mom wasn't like that. I didn't have that with my mom. She wasn't, when we were sick, when we were little, my dad took care of us. Mom didn't take care of us. He was the nurturing parent. And, there was not a lot of emotion. She didn't talk about stuff. We were the nice family. We didn't talk about stuff in our family. We didn't process emotions. There was just not a lot of emotion in my house. And so, it was something that I had to work on with my kids, is to be, affectionate and emotionally available. And I certainly didn't do a good job with, and I hope my kids don't judge me like I judged my mother. But I got into counseling with some problems and issues that I was having in my marriage, my first marriage. And I started counseling on my own first, and then we went to marriage counseling, and it began to come out he had a drinking problem, and he went to treatment for that, and they sent me to Al-Anon, which is a 12-step program. And in that program, I got a sponsor. And with the sponsor, I worked the steps, and that's how you grow personally in this program. And one of the things that came out when I did a step about resentments was this resentment toward my mom. And she looked at me and said, well, what do you think happened to your mom that would make her like that? And I told her the story of, the day that she was 10 and her brother was 8, and he was playing with a friend. They were down by the railroad tracks, and he got tangled up in some barbed wire, and there was a train coming, and he fell across the tracks, and the train ran over his legs and cut him off. And he only lived 24 hours, and my mom was 10 years old. And then I said, and then 5 years later, Dad went in for heart surgery and he died on the operating table. And so her dad died. And so I began to kind of understand, through her talking about this, I thought, wow, I could see to where that would affect my mom. And then she said the thing that I took to heart is, it's not about your mom being the mother that you need. It's about you being the daughter that she needs. And so as in personal growth, it's about what I do. And so I worked on my judgmental attitude. I was very judgmental toward everybody, because I was so judgmental about myself. And so as I worked on the relationship with my mom, I dropped the judgment. I began to look at her in a different way. I changed my perspective about some of that. And so I began to work on that relationship by being the daughter she needed. And through the years, our relationship got better. She still wasn't the touchy-feely mom I wanted, but, I accepted that. And acceptance is what I needed, to accept her just like she was instead of trying to change her or want something different. When I want something different, it just leaves me wanting something different. And the only thing that I can change is myself. I can't change another person. And so as she got older, she began to develop dementia. And then when my dad died in 2017, she couldn't stay by herself, so she went to assisted living. She was very functional at this time, but she just, her short-term memory was affected. But she became more loving and affectionate. And as the dementia got worse, she became more of that type of mother. Now I would go and visit her. She would remember that I was there. If she fell asleep and she woke up, it was like I just arrived, and we'd have the same conversation. And then I would leave and she wouldn't remember that I'd been there. But through personal growth and working on myself, it was more important that I remembered I had gone to see my mother than it was that she remembered. And I'm really grateful for that too. So my mom died in October, and I went to go help my brother with arrangements, and we took care of all of that. And that evening we were sitting outside, and my sister-in-law and him and I were talking, and we were talking about how Mother was, and about her not being affectionate and some of that. And, and I told them about my experience with working on that and how I had changed. And Robert looked at me and said, my brother, he said, Rhonda, Mother was with him that day. I said, no. She said, Rhonda, Mother was with Sonny that day when he got run over by the train. And I was taken aback because I never knew that. You see, we didn't talk about stuff like that. Mother never talked about that. He had found out at my dad's memorial service that from a first cousin of Mother's that she was there that day. I was just overwhelmed because as a counselor, I know the trauma of losing a brother like that was traumatic, but to have witnessed it, the trauma that would have caused, and instead of regret for judging my mom all those years, and I was overwhelmed with gratitude. Gratitude for mentors that wanted more for me than I wanted. For people that gave me really good, sound advice of what to do. And then I was grateful that I had taken that advice and done what they suggested. It changed the relationship that I had with my mother. And it changed the fact that I didn't have to stand at my mother's casket and look down and feel the pain of the regret. That I could stand there in gratitude that I had been the daughter she needed. And that's what personal growth is. That's what changing perspectives and mindset and developing a relationship with yourself. It it changes things in your life to where you don't have to live in pain and regret. I'm just so grateful. If you want to know what I do, I work with people. I help them with things like this, like someone else helped me. You could go to my website. I'll leave the link below. You can check out what I do. If you like what I share here, please subscribe to my channel. And hit like. Share this with somebody that you might know that needs to hear what I have to say. I thank you for your time, and I really, really encourage you to look at your perspectives. Check out your beliefs. I can only go as far in my growth personally in what I believe. So, most importantly of all, remember to be you on purpose.